Hello, howdy, good morning, hi, how are you? My name is Brady, welcome and welcome back. And listen, guys, I put out a video just a couple of days ago about that video was like understanding the quality of like realistic sunlight. I was really focused on just the authenticity of your direct sunlight, your light placement, kind of how that's gonna affect your roll off and your shadows relative to where your light is gonna be. But I kind of left it right there. I added a few more lights in there to, sell a little bit more of that daylight look, but I think that we can all agree that it rendered on the darker side. That in combination of the comments that you guys were leaving was started to turn some gears in my head of like, hey, what are those kind of holes left of like really polishing off and making this believable daylight scene while shooting at night? Now, one question I get a lot of the time is why the hell do I shoot at night? Just shoot at day, it's so much easier. And yes, that's true, daylight is beautiful. But sometimes scheduling just doesn't allow to, whether you have to shoot at night because of scheduling or talent or all of that, or you're just shooting for a long period of the day and the day turns into night and you gotta keep on going. So that's one thing I always like to bring up is yes, I would love to just shoot at day if I could, but sometimes you can't. And one of the benefits to shooting at night, actually, if we're shooting with smaller light fixtures, like 200 watt, 300 watt, 500 watt, they go further. They're brighter because you don't have to battle the daylight. So that's one thing to keep in mind as well. So obviously we had that sunlight, that was the point of the video, that was that 1200X that was coming out there, and I kind of moved that around in the video. Don't need to talk much about that. Because like I said in that video, you've got your hard sunlight coming through, but you also need some sky coming in as well. So I had in that one, that was an Aperture 600C Mark II, and that was very cool tones. I think I had it at 5600 Kelvin or 6500 Kelvin, emulating this kind of cool blue sky look. And that was just pretty damn close to the window just so we could cast this ambience throughout the room. And then on the other side of the house where Summer, the talent, was walking and starting from, I was just playing around with some of those CRLS reflectors, and I put one of those diff 4 pretty much white bounces right outside of that window, and I shot an Aperture Storm 1000C from the ground up into that, again like a 6500 Kelvin. So I bounced it off of that kind of because of the whole inverse square law to breeze over that. She was starting right up next to the window and then coming down those stairs, and I knew that if I just had like a source immediately next to the window, it would have been super hot right there and she would have fallen off really drastically. So I just extended the beam using that bounce board. So that's kind of all that I had light-wise. It was just those 3 fixtures, and I just threw those other 2 up just to add a little bit more daylight in so it wasn't completely dark black in the entire room. Rental houses are like a toy store for kids. It's gonna be your best friend. Again, it's saving you money. Enigma 3 rental houses, take advantage of them because you don't wanna buy all of this stuff. Grip stuff is expensive. So a lot of this look is actually going to come together in the color as well. I'm going to grade it to be a nice warm sunset look, which kind of segues me into the sponsor for today, which is Motion Array. So you guys have heard me talk about Motion Array all the time. That's nothing new to you, but what is new to you is that as of, I think now when this video is coming out, Motion Array is introducing their LUTS option as well. So they're going to have a wide variety of LUTs that are going to be on there. I'm going to grab probably some warm sunsetty LUTs to go along with this and actually grade the clip of Summer coming across the room here and just see how it looks. But they don't just have LUTs. As you know, they've got stock footage, they've got sound effects, they've got templates and graphics. Actually, you can even get stock footage of like a desert to pair it with this sunset. Say you want to have a setting of that you're in a desert, just go grab a house of stock footage on there and just have it look sunny. And then this pairs super nicely. So I'm gonna leave a link down below. Go check out Motion Array, please. And let's go back to the sunset video. But let's talk about the windows, because the windows are the dead giveaway. I saw that and I was like, hey, I'm just gonna turn a blind eye to it for right now. I think we can all agree that at night it's dark and at day it's bright. One of the main things is when we're looking at a window, we can see whatever is out there. So there's kind of 2 different options to navigate this when shooting at night. Sometimes I'll just put a white bounce card right out here and just shoot light into it so it's just white, it's just blown out to white, and that's okay. Or the other thing is, like, my neighbor's house is right there. You see what the sun is doing, that's probably what you're gonna see from that angle. I would just shoot, if you're allowed to, shoot a light into the subject that we're gonna see. Again, that's that neighbor's house right there. So I'm just gonna shoot a light into whatever that is to make it look like it's daylight. Again, I didn't do that because my neighbors would probably hate me and we just moved in. But that's another dead giveaway, is make sure that when you're looking out the windows, you can see daylight, not nightlight, But that still doesn't solve this overall darkness issue that we saw in the room here. Again, I kind of had those 2 soft lights that were on each side of the window. But houses have more windows than that. A lot of houses will have just natural light spilling everywhere. And that's something that is really important to recreate as well in your natural daylight at night scenes. Say we're shooting from this direction, right? I'm getting this fill ambience that if we're shooting at night, you're with a clean slate, total empty palette, there's no lights anywhere. We've got windows here, we've got windows there. So that's the objective that I want to get to, of filling in these deep dark shadows. And there's a few ways to do that. One way is the tried and true, shoot a light into the ceiling. It's just gonna bounce off the ceiling and just fill in all of your shadows really gently. And again, I think less is more on these. You don't want it to be true black, but you don't want it to be high key and bright and filled in completely. Be a little bit gentle with this, but another way is put like a softbox right directly in front of camera. It's okay to have a front facing softbox just to fill in a lot of these really deep black shadows. And you've got the option of either you can put a light outside one of those windows, or you can just do it from the inside if you want to. It just depends on what your framing is. Just don't be afraid to use fill. I think me especially, I'm always afraid to use fill and just wash out our contrast, but I think you're allowed to have this fill and ambience in there just to level off and smooth off that contrast ratio. Listen guys, that's all that I have for you in this video. It's 1:30 in the morning. I was just at Sundance Festival, which is freaking awesome. If you can ever make it to Sundance, you should. So there's really, you know, we got it a chunk of the way there in that scene, but it was really, I think what sells it and sells that look of not shooting at nighttime is just filling in these shadow areas. And that was the main purpose of me kind of jumping back up on here, because you guys were making a lot of great points in the comments. And I saw that as a great learning experience for all of us to just talk through, you know, this is what happens when you give it this look, but here's how you can polish off and really send it all home. So I hope that this video clears up any sort of confusions that you may have of shooting night at day. It can be a really like overwhelming thing. I'm gonna go, you know, pass out and fall asleep. So I love you all, and I will see you guys in the morning, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.